I'm Vic Bearcroft, and today I'm going to demonstrate to you that drawing animals freehand needn't be daunting. The French artist Paul Cézanne once said that if you can draw any shape, circles, triangles, ovals, squares, you can draw anything in nature. And today I'm going to demonstrate a couple of poses to show you using simple techniques that you can get proportions and shapes correct before you even begin to think about outline and detail. The first subject I'm going to show you is the portrait, and the photograph we're using today is a portrait of Torak, who's one of the young wolves at the Wolf Centre near Reading. And you can see that we have a typical wolf face here. The problem that you may encounter is how to transfer this freehand onto your sheet of velour before you start painting in pastel. So let's begin by identifying the basic shapes in the head. As always, we need to identify the skull, which is always a circle. So we can draw the circle in the head. The best thing to do here is to get yourself a rough copy on a sheet of paper of the photograph you're going to be using for your painting. Ideally black and white, so you don't need to worry about too much colour. Once we've got our basic circle, which is the skull, we can then look at the ears. The ears are basically triangles, set at an angle, different angle triangles, but triangles nonetheless. And then we'll look at the muzzle, the snout, and we can identify in that a simple paper cup shape, like so. Peculiar to the wolf are a couple more triangles, one just running across the eyes into the centre of the forehead, which form this lovely domed shape with the hair coming out each side. And the second triangle we can use is from the corners of our top one down to below the muzzle, which then gives us an entire sort of kite shape for the wolf's head. Once we've done that, we need a couple of circles for the eyes, a little circle to begin with for the nose, and then give yourself a guideline for the centre parting of the head and also the angle of the nose. And there we have it. Those are our basic shapes. The next thing we need to do, of course, is to transfer this over to the velour paper before we start putting some detail and outline in. Having established the basic shapes on our original photograph, we then need to transfer these across to our velour paper. So it should be relatively easy. If you have your photograph pinned to the side, you can get the correct size that you want and start again using the circle for the skull. Don't be afraid when you're drawing circles to keep going over it. It's very difficult to draw a perfect circle in one complete line, so keep it nice and sketchy. So we've got the circle matching. The next thing we need to get are the triangles for the ears. Now remember, the triangles for the ears are set at different angles, so we'll do that one first. And then moving across, we can check the angle of this ear, which is slightly narrower in the triangle than the right hand ear. Then we need to establish the paper cup shape for the muzzle, for the nose. Again, look at the angle of this, so we have a curve at the top, very simple paper cup shape, tapering down like this and rounded off at the bottom. Then of course we need to establish the shape of the wolf's head, which is again a basic triangle, inverted this time. And then where the base of the triangle is the line of our eyes. So that helps us to establish the position of the eyes as well. The second triangle gives you the complete kite shape, so we can bring that down below the muzzle. In fact, we can follow that down, that line, to create the chest there at the bottom. Now we need a centre parting in the forehead. Again, straight line down there. So we cut this triangle in half almost. And then we have a slight angle on the nose in this pose, so use your centre line down the paper cup to get that angle correct. And then we can put in some rough details, like the nose, position of the nose. In this case, just a little circle or an oval for that, indicate the position. And then the eyes. So the eyes, again, check just at the base of that ear, the line of the eye, little circle there. And this one, at the base of that ear, a little circle there. So those are all our basic components in place. Now you can easily see now what it is. It's some kind of animal. It is a wolf portrait, but it's only basic shapes. The beauty of this, of course, is that if you have anything wrong at this stage, it's only taken a few seconds for you to draw out, so you can correct it. You can check, for example, the height of that ear. If it's too high, change the size of your triangle. And again, if the nose is too short, just lengthen your paper cup. A few seconds adjustment is all that's needed. So then, having checked your drawing against the photograph, everything's in the right place, proportionally it looks right, then we can start to think about outline and more detail. So let's begin with the ears. We can start just to sketch out the outline of the ears, round off the triangle, because obviously his ears aren't that pointed, and check for all the shapes in the ear first. Get that little shadow bit, rounded shape where those hairs will come, and the rounded forehead in between the ears. Angle of the other ear is already there for us. Flatten off the top, the dividing line between outer ear and inner ear, and then again rounded section at the bottom. And then the head. We have the triangle to determine the shape of the head, so just begin to sketch an outline of fur on that, and the same on this side. Sketch an outline of the fur on this, and then we'll have a look at the nose. We don't need to redraw the top of the paper cup, that's just there for position, but we can come down the eye along the centre of the nose, check your shapes as you're working down. So you're using these basic shapes as guidelines. So work within and around the nose. We can cut the nose in half to determine the top part and the lower part where the nostrils are, and then around the muzzle, using our paper cup as a guideline, just bring it out a little bit there for the side of the mouth. Then the eyes. Always begin with circles for the eyes, because that's what eyeballs are, they're circles. Try not to draw the shape that you see on the photograph, this shape here, to begin with. Draw the circles first and then get the shape of the eye around it. So we have a kind of hooded predatory look on there, which is a straight line which cuts across our circle. Here, slightly going down, cuts across the circle again. And then we have the lower rims, which follow more or less the shape of the eyeball. And then these little triangular tear ducts. Remember, these are angles and shapes. So a couple of little triangles for the tear ducts here. You can, if you want to, position the pupils at this stage. And then we have a little shell shape or oval shape for the eyebrows, like so. And that starts to suggest the muscles above the eyebrows as well.